There has never been a better time to build a 1440p or 4K gaming PC build than August 2025. Prices right now on GPUs and CPUs are lower than they've ever been this year, even lower than Amazon Prime Day. We're going to take you through 3 incredible builds to play all the latest titles like Battlefield 6, Borderlands 4, Silent Hill F, and others. We're going to start off at an impossible $650 1440p gaming PC build to a $1,300 1440p gaming PC build for super high FPS, and we are going to finish off with a monster RTX 5090 gaming PC that you won't believe. If you get value out of this video, please give it a like. It makes a huge difference to the channel, and of course subscribe for more cool PC content. Let's jump into it. This video is sponsored by Seasonic, who many consider the gold standard in PC power supplies. I recommend Seasonic PSUs because they're built to last and perform in a load. Seasonic's been engineering top-tier power supplies for almost 50 years, and a lot of the features we expect today, like silent fan control and precision manufacturing, Seasonic helped pioneer. Their focus has always been on engineering first, with every design tested for stability, efficiency, and long-term reliability. They've also been a key launch partner for Cybernetics, one of the most respected PSU performance and noise certification programs. Now Seasonic is driving the future with their OptiTech ecosystem, from OptiSync for cooler, quieter operation to OptiGuard coming in early 2026, the most comprehensive protection system you can get for your GPU and entire PC. If you want rock-solid power from a company obsessed with getting it right, check out Seasonic using the link in the description. Let's jump into that $650 1440p gaming PC build in 2025. You can actually do this, and you're going to get enough VRAM to play all the latest titles. You get 12 gigs of VRAM out there, and the GPU is going to be fast enough to run anything that you want, like Battlefield 6, Borderlands 4, and others. In fact, if you take advantage of some combos that I'll show you as we go through the rest of the system build, you can build this for as little as $624, and if you want just as much storage as a PS5 Pro, you can do this for $699 with 2 terabytes of storage. Let's jump into what else though. The GPU, of course, because that's what's going to power this build. Now, when we build a gaming PC, we want to make sure we're getting the biggest, fastest graphics card that we can afford, and then just get a CPU platform that won't bottleneck it. The challenge is at a $650 price point, there's only so low we can go with the CPU platform. So we're going to spend a little less than half of our budget on the graphics card here. We're looking to spend about $250, and you have 3 options essentially. The first one is a more generalist option. This is the Intel Arc B580. This is going to run all the latest titles out there. You've got plenty of VRAM for them, and it's pretty fast as well. So whether you want to play Battlefield 6 or Borderlands 4, which are more of a kind of fast-paced shooter games, or you want to play something more graphics intensive, say Hogwarts Legacy, you're not going to run out of VRAM, and it's going to perform pretty well in all of those titles. Right now, you can pick up the Onyx Odyssey one for $260. That's the cheapest one out there. ASRock, there's another Sparkle, also make them as well. Our NVIDIA option here is actually pretty good. I know a lot of people will wonder, why aren't we thinking about the RTX 5050? Well, it's only got 8 gigabytes of VRAM, and it's the same price as the RTX 3060 12 gigabyte. It's like NVIDIA made a GPU so good in 2021 that they just can't make a better one with either the 4060 or now the 5050. This is a great graphics card. It's got access to DLSS 4, and you're never gonna have to deal with any kind of driver issues. For those of you who are like, Jason, I don't care about those VRAM intensive titles. I just play competitive shooters or competitive games all the time. They don't take a lot of VRAM because I'm always turning it down to more basic settings. We really want to check out the RX 9060 XT 8 gigabyte. As we'll see in the performance numbers in just a second, not only has it gotten a lot cheaper, it's now $269. I will say there was a $249 one that recently sold out, so maybe you could even pick it up a little bit cheaper, but $269 for this performance, you're going to be surprised, and it has FSR 4. How much FPS can you expect for $647? Maybe even $624. I'll show you those combos in just a second. This is the TechSpot RTX 5050 review. So it's got all these cards on it, and it's the latest kind of most up-to-date data on it. This is 1440p and 18 game average, mostly at ultra details here. You can see the reason we're not looking at the 5050. It's too slow. It's too slow. Even with DLSS 4, it would be too slow. And it runs out of VRAM in a lot of titles. Meanwhile, the 3060, yes, 43 average FPS, but you turn it down to high settings and then you turn upscaling on, you should get 60 FPS in most titles out there that are harder to run. And of course, in those competitive shooters where you're going to turn down to low settings or balanced or competitive settings, you get way more FPS than that. I do like the Arc B580. I think it's a better GPU. I know some people like, Jason, I'm afraid of the driver issues. That's fine. I would still pick up the Arc B580. I think it's refined enough. And again, turn on upscaling, turn it down to high, you're easily going to get 60 FPS. But for those of you out there who are absolute esports nuts, look at the 9060XT, 61 average FPS. That is crazy. That is crazy, especially if all you're going to do is play Borderlands 4 or Battlefield 6, those kinds of really fast-paced shooter games, or you're in a Rocket League or anything like that. That is a GPU that you may want to pick up. I know 8 gigabytes of VRAM, it's getting a little dicey in 2025. It probably still is enough for those competitive shooters out there. And for $250, it does perform. Let's talk CPU. We're going to go with the i5-12400F. I know some people are like, well, why aren't we going with the Ryzen 5600 or similar CPU? Because those CPUs, not only they're more expensive, but the 5700X3D, our future upgrade path, no longer exists, it appears, at retail, at least in the US and even in Europe right now. In fact, there's reports that it's completely gone out of production. I like the i5-12400F just as fast as the 5600, and in the future, we can drop in a 14600K in here and we'll get similar performance like a 5700X3D. So why not do that? In fact, as I was filming this, I hit refresh. It went from $114 down to $109. So we just lost another $5 off the cost of the build. 2 thumbs up there. And this CPU comes with an included stock cooler that is all we need, though we can't always upgrade it for like $15 or $20. Now here's where it gets interesting. I'm going with the ASUS B760M-AYW Wi-Fi. This is a DDR4 version of this motherboard. It's a relatively new motherboard from ASUS on the LGA 1700 platform. It's fine. It's a more budget-focused motherboard, but it has a PCIe Gen 5 GPU slot, and for that ARC B580, that actually might help in terms of some of the CPU bottleneck issues out there. So 2 thumbs up there. We're not going to have to worry about that. And on top of that, we're going to be able to have VRMs capable of handling like an i5-14600K in the future. Now, the good news is Newegg is offering some really crazy combos. You can see them right here. The combo I'm going for kind of the base version is a DDR4, a 32 gigabyte DDR4 combo with this motherboard. But just know, there's an even crazier combo that comes with the Montech Air 903 Max case. It also comes with 32 gigabytes of RAM. These are the Ripjaws kits instead for $168. That would bring the total cost of the build down to like $620-ish. That is totally insane for this level of performance. For storage to keep the build under $650, I went with the PNY CS1030. Now this is the 500 gigabyte version of it. So this is an NVMe SSD for $29. I'm going to show you a version at the end that beats the PS5 Pro for $10 cheaper and uses the 2 terabyte version of this drive instead. For the case, I went with the Cooler Master Q300L. Now you can either pick up the V2, it says limited deal, $38.99. It's not limited deal. It's always on sale for $38.99. Or you can pick up kind of the original one, right? This is the GOAT. This is the Masterbox Q300L. Everybody was building this case 7 years ago. You can still build with it now. In fact, it's the 5th best-selling PC case on Amazon, and it just stays there forever. But I will say, they only come with 1 included fan, so I did go ahead and pick up a 3-pack of Thermalright PWM 120mm ARGB fans, $13. Somebody please tell me how Thermalright makes these fans. We use them all the time. They're not Noctua fans, but they're good enough for $13. And then we'll close out with a PSU. This is a just good enough PSU, basically. This is the Apivia Prestige 600 watt. If you've seen any of our budget builds, we always use this one because it's C tier rated on the SPL PSU tier list. It's got all the connectors you need. It's just an amazing PSU for $52. I've got all this linked down in the video description, including all those combo deals. So here we go, $641.85. I adjusted the price on the CPU, and I'm only taking advantage in this one of the combo with the motherboard and the RAM. If you also take advantage with the case as well, it gets all the way down to like $620, which is totally crazy. But I know somebody out there is gonna say, well, Jason, technically the PS5 Pro has 2 terabytes of storage. So here you go. This also has 2 terabytes of storage, and it's $683.97 because I threw in the 2 terabyte version of that NVMe SSD drive for $95, and we're taking advantage of the case, motherboard, and RAM combo here for $168. And try editing video sometime on the PS5 Pro. This will do way more than just game as well for $683. Let's jump into that $1,300 1440p gaming PC build. Now this is a little bit different than some of the other ones we've done. Typically I go super best value, but I know some of you out there like, that's great, but what if I want a slightly more premium version of that? I want an 8-core CPU. I want a motherboard with upgraded audio and upgraded features on it. I want maybe a little bit of liquid cooling in there instead of just an air cooler. What should I be looking for? So this is $1,304.97 is where I finished out. Now let's go through this And let's start off with the GPU because basically you have two options here. Let's be realistic. You either can pick up the RX 9070 16GB version for $599. AMD, get this down to MSRP $549. Come on, you can do it. Or you're going to go ahead and pick up the NVIDIA version, which is the RTX 5070 12GB. Now this one right here, the MSI Shadow that I'm showing you, they're basically offering for $549. So at the MSRP with that $30 promo code. And this is the nicer model. I actually have the 2-fan model, which is just these 2 fans here. This is the 3-fan model. So it's a pretty nice model. Now the 12 gigs of VRAM, for some of you, that might be an issue out there. I still think in 2025, this is enough for 1440p gaming. Just don't expect very good ray tracing out of it because it will run out of ray tracing in a lot of the titles where ray tracing actually matters. I'm not talking lightweight ray tracing, because Radeon GPUs do just fine in lightweight ray tracing as well. But I'm talking if you want to do anything heavy duty, I would jump up to the 5070 Ti. So how much FPS can you expect for $1,300? Now remember, we're also more premiumizing the rest of the build, so we could do this a little bit cheaper, but these are great 1440p graphics cards in 2025 because as you can see here, this is the Tech Power Up RX 9070 review. So this is about 23 game average at ultra details, 120 average FPS. That's incredible. 120 average FPS. The 5070 is not far behind, 114 average FPS. Could you tell the difference between them? I don't think so. I don't think so. If you think you can, you're out of your mind. But I will say that the 9070 likely has gotten faster, as we saw with the 9070 XT has since that original launch. So expect it to be a little bit more. But again, I don't think anyone could tell the difference between these graphics cards right now in 2025. We're going to skip the 7600X, 9600X. Great CPUs, by the way. You can definitely pick them up instead and save a little bit of money, but I get it. Some of you just want more CPU horsepower. Let's do that. I went with the Ryzen 7700X because at $250 is a pretty good price. Unfortunately, the 7800X 3D has gone up in price. It's more like $376 now. So it feels like a little bit out of reach for a build like this. I like this CPU a lot for $250. If you can pick up the 7700 non-X, it comes with a really good included stock cooler. However, right now in the US, it's like $300 and something, really not worth it. For the cooler, I went with a Thermalright Aqua Elite 240mm. Now this is the V3 version. We've used this in the past. It's $45. Yes, I know it's not quite as high performance as some of those dual tower air coolers, but this is not a 14900K. This CPU cooler is going to be all you need for a 7700X out there, and it's going to look amazing. For the motherboard, I decided to use the ASRock B850M Riptide Wi-Fi because I did this exact same build recently. That way you can see what it actually looks like. This is a great motherboard, by the way. It's recently come down to $169. Finally, these micro ATX motherboards, even though they're more premium, I think these are like $170 motherboards. So I think these are pretty appropriately priced here. It's got 4 high-speed USB ports, including a Type-C, 4 lower-speed USB 2.0 ports. It's got Wi-Fi 7 on it. It's actually, I think, the cheapest Wi-Fi 7 motherboard out there right now. And it has upgraded ALC 1220 audio, along with all the other fixings on it. 3 M.2s, 2 of them with heat spreaders on it. $169, tough to beat. RAM, I just went with an RGB kit. This is the cheapest one, DDR5 6000 CL30. I will say there are now some CL28 kits that are coming in more like $105. You certainly could pick those up. I think you probably pick up a little bit of performance. I did want to hit that $1,300 price point pretty cleanly though, so I just decided to go DDR5 6000 CL30. For the drive, I went with one of my favorites, Silicon Power UD90. Silicon Power has just decided they are going to be the lowest price all the time. I had been changing it between the G50 and this. There's about a $7 or $8 difference, and really, this is a phenomenal performer. I would just pick this up for 50 bucks. For the case, I decided to use the same case that I recently did a build in. I absolutely love the way this came together. This is the Okeanos Mirage 4. But right now, you can actually pick up a coupon for this. You can actually save $6. It's $53. This is a really premium case. It's an atrium style case, 2 glass panels on it. You get 3 included ARGB fans. So you get the 2 on the bottom and 1 here. And then just like it looks like in the picture, this is what it's going to look like with an AIO setup. In fact, this is what ours looks like right now. We did use a different cooler. We used the Vetru V240 on it. Great cooler as well if you want to pick that one up instead. A little bit more expensive, but this is a great gaming PC build. It looks amazing, especially for something with a much smaller footprint. For the PSU market's a little upside down right now. Some of the cheaper units have completely gone off the market, but one that has remained is the mATX Century 2. Now, you do not need 850 watts for this build. 750 watts would be absolutely fine. Probably even do 700, maybe even 650 out there. But $89 for an A-tier rated unit. 850 watts is going to give you plenty of future upgradability if you want to put in a super stacked GPU in the future on it. And it comes with all the connectors you need. And again, A-tier rated on the SBL PSU tier list. So all told, for $1,304.97, right at that $1,300 price point, you're going to get a very muscular 1440p gaming PC with that, again, that 8-core CPU. It's going to look amazing. You're going to get some more premium features with that motherboard and the upgraded audio on it. We got RGB on the RAM on it, and we've got 1TB NVMe SSD storage along with that RTX 5070, great 1440p gaming performance. Check it out. Let's jump into that RTX 5090 gaming PC build in 2025. Now, I finished out just under $4,000 for the PC build at $3,972.92. You could, of course, do this cheaper. I just think this also brings a level of premium gaming that anybody who's shelling out $2,500 to $3,000 for an RTX 5090 is going to want to have in their gaming PC system. I also did this in a black and white contrast build. All these parts are available in both black and white, so you can either do contrast like I do, you can do all black, you can do all white, whatever you want. But let's start off and let's talk about that RTX 5090. Now, I went with the MSRI Vanguard RTX 5090. 32 gigs of VRAM on this. NVIDIA, how is it you can give this one so much VRAM and you starve most of the rest of your lineup? This is obviously with a $200 promo code off $2,799, gets you down to $2,599. That's $2,600 for this GPU. A lot of people, Jason, it's a $1,999 MSRP, it's $2,000 MSRP. I think that MSRP is as fake as anything else. I think the real MSRP probably closer to $2,300 to $2,500, depending on the model. Obviously, this is one of the higher end RTX 5090, so you're not going to pay anything close to MSRP for it. And given where prices have gone, this is actually a pretty good price. If you want to take a look, other models out there right now, you can like pick up the Zotac Gaming Solid OC model for $2,399. This is called $2,400. For $2,500, you can get the MSI Ventus. You can get a white one by Zotac for $2,500. Then we come into the PNY ARGB one for $2,550. Basically, there's a lot of models between that $2,400 and $2,600 price point. You can kind of take your pick of the litter. I just happen to think the Vanguard is the best deal right now. What kind of FPS can you expect with an RTX 5090? Well, let's just jump back into the RX 9070 review that we used for the previous build. And you can see, look at the 5090 all the way at the top there with 220 average FPS, let's just call it. It's almost twice as fast as a 9070 or an RTX 5070. That is crazy to think about. Crazy to think about. Now, it's well more than double the price, but this is the fastest GPU on the planet. It's considerably faster than the 4090 as well, but it does have a slight CPU bottleneck, even with the fastest gaming CPU on the planet, which, spoiler alert, we are going to go ahead and use at 1440p. So if you want to go up to 4K, that really allows it to stretch its legs. And look at that, 150 average FPS basically versus the RTX 4090's 110. Pretty dang fast in 2025. Let's jump into the CPU. Now, basically you have two current CPU choices, possibly a third coming down the pike. If you're just a gamer or you're primarily a gamer, the 9800X3D is an incredibly powerful gaming CPU. Even for like video editing and other multi-threaded tasks, it's still very, very fast because it has the 3D V cache on the bottom and cores are on the top, so it's got a lot better cooling than 7800X3D did. That's why this CPU is actually faster than a 9700X, even in multi-threaded work, and it crushes everything in gaming. The only question is, if you're a professional who's 40 hours a week and you're doing a lot of professional work, you could consider the 9950X3D, but it only has Vcache on one of the CCDs, and then the other ones, it basically shuts off when you're gaming. Anyway, it turns it into a 9800X3D. So you really only want to do that if you're also a pro. Yes, I am aware there are rumors that AMD is going to announce a dual CCD with Vcache CPU coming up. Would I wait for that? Probably not. How much more CPU horsepower are you going to get at 4K or 1440p? I'd go with this for $449, and it's a lot easier to cool. Speaking of that cooler, I went with the Arctic Liquid Freezer 3 Pro 360. This is the ARGB version. I went with one in white. You can, of course, get the black one as well. They basically have made some changes to this to essentially retake the crown after the Montauk Hyperflow kind of knocked them off just a little bit. But either way, this cooler is a massive overkill for a 9800X3D. You don't need this. A 240mm all-in-one liquid cooler would also suffice if you want to go that route instead, but this build is really all about overkill. For the motherboard, I went with the ASUS TUF X870 Plus Wi-Fi for $262. You don't need X870, but I feel like some of you out there, just as soon as it's $59, you feel like obviously I have to have an X870 motherboard. If you want the E version of this, it's not that big of a difference basically, but it's another $30 or $40. So I decided on this as a good kind of middle ground. Otherwise, I'd probably go with the ASUS TUF B850 Plus instead, but this is a great motherboard, 9 high-speed USB ports, including 2 Type-Cs that are running at USB 4 speed that you probably will never get any use out of, but it's also got Wi-Fi 7. Literally every feature that you can think of needing as a gamer is on here. For the RAM, even though it doesn't help very much, why not spend the extra 20 or 30 bucks going with DDR5 6000 CL28 RAM? I went with 32 gigs. If you, for some reason, feel like you need 64 gigs, you can certainly do that. There's also 48 gigabyte kits now out there that kind of strike a middle ground between those two, but I still like 32 gigs for $125. For the drive, I just went with a good drive with DRAM on it. This is the Acer Predator GM7000. I've recommended it over and over for $129. It's one of the better priced ones out there right now, and it's a great performer. For the PC case, we did our Ryzen 9800X 3D gaming PC build in the Antec C5, and despite some challenges in there, I don't like how Antec has the fans kind of pre-wired. I did pull it apart and rewire it myself. The result of the build looked so clean and so amazing. I absolutely loved it. I loved it. An amazing case with 7 included ARGB fans. Our 360mm all-in-one liquid cooler is going to go whoop right up there to the top. We're going to have a great look at our MSI RTX 5090 GPU there. I love everything about this case. For the PSU, I went with the Lean Edge series. I went 1300 watts here. You probably could do 1200. I calculated it like 1240 or something like that, so I decided to round up. But great PSU with the Lean Edge series, A-tier rated on the SPO PSU tier list, $207. The pricing isn't the best, but again, the white one comes with white cable connections, which I absolutely love here. What do you think of the build? Would you do something differently? Let me know down in the comments. Of course, everything is linked down there in the video description. Check those out for all the parts lists, alternative parts, and of course, all those combo deals for the $650 gaming PC. Don't miss out on those. If you got value out of this video, please give it a like. It makes a huge difference to the channel. And of course, subscribe for more cool PC content. Like, did you check out our best GPU to buy in August 2025? Check it out right here. Every price point, what's the best GPU to buy? Prices are actually lower than Amazon Prime Day. Check it out, and we'll catch you on the next one.